Reno, Nevada. 13-year-old driver Evan Rauscher.
And welcome to Rauscher Racing Weekly. I'm your host, Thomas O'Boyle.
I'm David Rauscher.
And we're back. We've had about a week off. We upgraded some equipment, so we brought you in to our home, get a little more comfortable. So you had a big, crazy week this week.
We did. Yeah, we did.
And Evan had his first big wreck.
Evan, yes, had a more self-inflicted pain this weekend, so we've learned a lesson, and we've tore up some stuff and totaled yet another chassis.
And how was Cycleland? Was there a lot of cars this time? Did you have...
No, the car count's fallen off, so I don't know exactly what the car count was, but most classes are averaging about 28 to 30 cars now, down from the 55 to 58 that we were having.
And Blake, he had a good week?
Blake had a really good week. He qualified, I think, 10th overall. And in qualifying, he sat 7th for a long time, which is really good for us.
Yeah.
So, and then he lost a couple of spots. Evan still struggled a little bit in qualifying, so I'm not sure if it's driver, tires, car setup, but...
And it's better like that he finished this week, right? Because he had some struggles with the car the last couple of weeks.
Right, yeah. Blake had some struggles the last couple of weeks and not running real good. And this week he actually led some laps in his heat race and was
nice.
We still had issues. He still didn't finish his heat race, but...
And Evan was doing well until he even qualified for main A. And then...
Yes, Evan transferred. Evan got spun late in his heat race. And then on the last lap drove from like 6th to 4th and transferred into the A. And then went out for the A and realized he didn't have any brakes and decided to risk it and raced anyway with no brakes right from the beginning.
So he tried to risk it.
Right, and on like lap 20 out of 25, it bit him.
Yeah.
So
what happened in the accident?
Some other cars got together in front of him. He tried to go to the high side because he couldn't slow down to get below the wreck. And the cushion, which is what we run the right rears up against to help the car get launch off the corners and help him turn, it ripped the right front off the car, turned him into the wall, and he was like a top for about 5 or 6 times. I think he went around. And when the chassis came down, it bent the axle and bent the frame.
And so the car's completely demolished, right?
Yes, the top half of the cage is still usable, the wing and all that's still good, but the bottom half, the main chassis portion, is toast.
And so where are you at in the rebuilding process leading up to this coming Saturday?
Right now, actually, when we get done doing this, we're going to go to my brother's house. We're going to pick up a bare chassis and take it. It's a little bit smaller tube chassis than what we're going to run in the open class, but we're going to take it to Brady Built Performance. Right. We're going to jig that chassis, and then we're going to fix one that Blake totaled a few weeks ago. We're going to try to straighten it and get it ready.
And this week, we got a special guest for the audience.
Yes, my nephew Brent is in the house tonight, and he's going to let you know what it's like and talk about the 250 class.
And the 250 class is the class that Evan had moved up from.
Yes, that's the class that Evan had ran the last 2 or 3. Okay,
so we're going to go to break, and then we'll bring in Blake and talk about his race and everything else. Yeah. All right, so we'll be back right after this.
From food truck to restaurant, North Valley's Hawaiian food truck favorite, Aloha Shack. Enjoy Kahlua pork cheese shell tacos, the curry burger, or even Kahlua pork nachos. Aloha Shack just off of Exit 78, open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. with a Saturday brunch served from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. Takeout only, call 775-622-8825.
Do you want your home to shine? Well, look no further, because at All About Cleaning Service, we always have room for you. We are licensed and insured local business serving Reno, Sparks, and the North Valley's areas. We also provide service to Fernley. We offer the following services: one-time cleaning, bi-weekly cleaning, monthly cleaning, move-in outs, and deep cleans. We are currently running specials for our community. Our girls are reliable, trustworthy, and we can honestly say they are amazing. We put our heart and dedication into what we do. Contact us today, 775-799-0949. Facebook, All About Cleaning Service. Email, allaboutcspro@gmail.com. No mess, no fuss, just cleaning. Welcome back from the commercial. I'm here with Blake. Blake, you had a decent week this week. You qualified for Main B. How did you feel getting ready to go into the show, into the race?
It was a pretty good weekend. Our qualifying was pretty good. Like right off the bat for practice, the car just felt better than normal. We went 10th quick, but when I was in the car, it didn't actually feel that fast, but it was actually pretty good. We were almost in for a dash, and people that qualify for a dash instantly go to the A main and don't have to run a different main. It's just like, it's basically a heat race. That's all they got to do. Mm-hmm. So we were doing pretty good there, and then for our heat race, we started front row outside, which is pretty good. We haven't got there yet this year. Okay. So we had pretty good speed. We competed on the first lap, and I moved the guy out of the way, and I took the lead, and I led about 4 of the 8 laps or so, and then we had some electrical problems in the car, and it shut off, so I didn't get to finish my heat race.
So you continue to have some problems with the car, and are you feeling this week like you're getting there for this coming Saturday?
Yeah, I think we're going to do a lot better. Hopefully, we're going to try to buy some new electronics for our guy we race with, so hopefully we won't have any more problems with the car shutting off. And then, yeah, so hopefully everything will go a little bit better.
And then how did you feel in your Main B race?
Pretty good. I started like mid-pack or so, and instantly I passed the guy in front of me, and I was in a transfer. But then the top side of the track was really good, and I wasn't up there yet. I was on the bottom for most of the race, and the cars pulled away. But on the white flag, there was a caution, so they restarted, so it was a green-white checkered. So I instantly, the guy in front of me slid up a little bit, so I was in a transfer coming down the backstretch to the checkered flag. And then I hit the infield, and I kind of messed myself up, lost some speed, and then people went around me. So we lost the transfer, and we didn't make it out of the B main.
And I heard you had a little bit of, like, you were hitting the infield a little, and it kept slowing you down.
Yeah, I did that a couple times. Right off the bat on the race, on the first lap, first corner, I did that, and then on the last lap. So messed myself up a little bit.
Well, why don't we take a look at your race, and we'll talk about it when we come back.
Okay.
All right. a bad race. Like you said, you hit the dirt inside a little bit. It slowed you down. So you've had a feel for the car now. You're getting ready to come up this Saturday again at Cycleland. How are you feeling getting ready for this week?
I'm feeling really prepared this time after our good outing last time. I'm ready to go again. I think we'll do pretty good.
You're looking to get to that main A, right?
Yeah, we've had a couple of chances now this season, this race and another race, but we haven't capitalized on other things going on. So hopefully this time we'll get it done.
All right, and before we go to your brother, do you have anything big you're going to do with your car this week, or you kind of just tighten it up a little?
Just nut and bolt check. Our fuel tank broke, so we had to go get that fixed by our sponsor, Brady Boat Performance. So now we're all ready to go again, so that's about it.
All right. Well, we'll be back after this with Evan. All right, welcome back from the commercial. I'm here with Evan, who took a really big tumble this week. Evan, how are you feeling after your tumble?
My head hurts pretty bad, but besides that, I'm okay, I guess.
Did they diagnose you with the concussion, or did they just, you got your bell rung type thing?
No, we didn't go to the doctor, hospital, or anything. We just figured if they're going to tell us you got a concussion, then we already have one, so why go?
Okay, and your car was pretty damaged. So what's your thoughts on trying to hurry up and repair in just 5 days?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty stressful, but after this, my dad said we're going to go build another jig. So after that, it's pretty easy to put one back together after we already have the axle and everything put together, so it won't be that hard.
And it's got to be hard because this week you qualified for the main A, right?
Yeah, I straight out of my heat race. On lap 7 out of 8, some guy ran out of talent and decided to turn me. And then on the last lap, I decided to push it super hard, ran the high side, passed half the field, and then going down into 3, I slid a dude and got the final transfer.
And so why don't you talk to us a little bit about your tumble? I know sometimes it's hard, but what happened? Did you roll, or did you go end over end?
So there was a dude spun out at the top of 3, and since I had no brakes, I couldn't slow down to go below it where everyone mostly went, because up by the wall and him, there was barely enough for a car. And when I went up there, my car dug into the cushion, put me into the wall, and tore the right front off. And what my mom and dad said, I spun around like a top and went super fast that way. And
So you said what your mom and dad said. Are you not remembering the tumble much?
it was pretty fast. I really didn't get to know. All I felt really was me hitting the ground, and that's about it.
Okay, and like I was saying, so this week you actually qualified in the main A, right?
Yeah.
So the previous weeks you were qualifying in main B. So that's got to be hard to qualify for your main A and then have that tumble.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty upsetting because if I would have passed the crash, I would have almost been in the top 10. So.
Yeah. Okay, well, why don't we take... Boy, that was a bad tumble.
Yeah. It was pretty hard hit.
It was, and you were doing well, and you qualified for main A and everything. So, as you get ready for this coming Saturday, do you think you would do anything different with maybe not going for it without the brakes?
Yeah, since there's no way for me to communicate to my dad once I'm in the car, so all we do is his hand signals. And then since we don't really have one for no brakes, so he kind of shrugged his shoulders and said it was up to me. So I kind of just decided just to go for it, and it kind of not worked out.
So, why don't we tell the fans real fast, how does Outlaw Kart works? Like, all right, if you're having a problem like that, can you come off? Can you pit like NASCAR would?
Yeah, we have a work area in the infield you can go into, but once you go in there before a race, you don't get your spot back. You have to drop back down to the rear of the field. And like, if you get a problem mid-race, you can pull in there and fix it. Then the next caution, you can get pushed back off. But if it's not fixable, then you just stay down there.
All right, and before we go to commercial, do you have any concerns going into this coming week?
No, not really. I think after we get the backup car welded back up, it'll be pretty good.
Yeah, and what about yourself personally?
I think I'll be pretty good. I think my head might hurt, but take some ibuprofen and be fine.
Okay, well, you heard it there. He's going to be fine. He's going to go for it, and we'll be back after this.
Are you too tired to cook? Tired of driving into town? Check out Fuego Habanero at Chuck's Market on the corner of Village Parkway and Cold Springs Drive. Come enjoy delicious, fresh, local, and authentic Mexican food such as carne asada street tacos, burritos, and their homemade avocado salsa. Brought to you, the customer, by us at Fuego Habanero.
All right, so this week we got a special guest for you. I'm with Brent Rauscher, who races in the 250. Brent, how you doing?
Doing all right.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so you out there this weekend at Cycleland? How'd your race go?
It went all right.
Yeah.
Had a little bit of problems on the first lap. Couldn't quite get to the line I needed to. Later in the race, had to pull into the work area because we were racing back to the yellow because there was a crash and my car just shut off.
Oh, no. So did you get in there and you figured out what the problem was?
Yes.
What was the problem? What happened that it shut off on you?
We filled the fuel too high in the car and it wouldn't let it vent, so it just shut off because it couldn't vent out.
All right, and so how long have you been racing?
4 to 5 years.
Yeah?
Somewhere in that time range.
Nice. Good. Some good experienced driver for your young age, right? How old are you? Why don't you tell the fans a little bit about yourself?
I'm 10 years old.
You've been racing for about 4 or 5 years? All right. What's your car number?
16.
And what color's your car?
It's like green, black, whitish gray. Can't quite decide what it is.
Okay. And where did you qualify this week at?
I qualified 12th out of 23 250s.
Nice. And is it like Blake and Evan where you get a main A and main B? So did you make one of those?
I made the A.
You made the A? And in your main race, where do you think you finished?
I finished 18th, 2 laps down after I had to pull in the hot pit.
All right. Well, we actually have a video of his race, so let's take a look at that. race. It's only your second full season racing, and you didn't finish last. You qualified for Maine. So as you're getting ready for this Saturday, do you feel you have any changes you need to do for your car?
I don't feel like we need to do anything in my car except for the main, especially if the track's like it was on Saturday. Because the top was where it was at, and we tightened my car up so I wasn't able to run the top. Because when I get up there, it just hopped really bad.
Okay. So you sound like you know what you're doing for being 10, you know? I mean, you're talking about the top and finding your right line and your right track. So, you know, we look forward to having you back the next couple of weeks and checking out your races. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. You relax and we'll take care of you, okay? We'll be back to wrap up the show. All right, fans, welcome back. I'm here with David again. We had a good show. We brought in your nephew.
Yeah, my nephew Brent.
Your nephew Brent. And wow, you know, for 10 years old, he's really nailing his racing.
For 10 years old, he knows the lingo. He knows what the car is doing, and he can pretty much tell you why it's doing it and almost tell you what to adjust. So.
And what's nice about having Brent is he's at the 250 and then the boys are at the open. So we're going to have that different stuff. You can see where Evan came from.
Right, exactly.
We'll have Brent back the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And as you get ready for this Saturday, I know you got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, I got a lot of work to do. Right now, before we came over, I'm fiberglassing Evan's hood back together because we lost a corner of it. So, but that's really all I can do until we get a chassis back, and then it's going to be a mad scramble. So.
And the brakes, what are you going to do about the brakes?
The brakes, all we can do is tighten up the fitting that came loose on us, and maybe we can put some thread locker or something on it. I'm not 100% sure yet what we're going to exactly do, but I think it came loose in a wreck. It's not something, you know, that we would have nut and bolted really in between races. So,
okay,
you know, just a freak thing, I think.
And again, it's just Cycle Land again, right?
Yeah,
not just. I mean, Cycle Lane's a beautiful thing.
Right.
I don't mean it like that, but you're not going to another track
right. No,
still
we're
yet.
Going back to Cycle Land yet again.
And which is great because they're getting all that experience and they're getting lap times in.
Right. There's nowhere else on the West Coast you're going to race against competition like this. Even in Brent's class, in the 250 class, you have the best 250 drivers on the West Coast that he's racing against, and nobody's given a free lap.
And to not qualify last, that's got to be big for him.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. And he's had his setbacks this year, so you know it's racing. Everybody, you have ups and downs, and sometimes those downs seem to last for weeks, and then all of a sudden, like Blake, man, you pop out of it, you lead laps, and then your ignition will quit.
Right.
So
that's got to be hard.
Yeah, it was a bummer. He was pretty upset.
And it's got to be hard for one as dad, but for Evan, qualifying a main and then having that tumble.
Right.
I mean, that's got to hurt you.
It's racing. Even if his brakes didn't go out, if he couldn't get below that wreck because there was another car there, that possibly could have happened even with brakes. It's a racing deal, and you know we do what we do as racers, and we rebuild and
we talked about it before, where like it's like football. With filming the races and stuff, he's going to be able to start watching it and doing, you know, pre-game, pre-prep, getting ready to see, okay, maybe this time I'll go this way.
Right, exactly. You know, you just look at, you know, they're going so fast trying to process what happened. You know, like he didn't black out during, you know, after he hit the wall and spun. He was just going so fast. And at that point, the carburetor had come off, the engine shut off, there is no noise in the car. So you really can't tell which way's up. There's no air bubbles to look at. You know, so he's just along for the ride.
Yeah. And so now he knows how the NASCAR drivers feel when you see those crazy crashes into the netting and stuff.
Right.
How do you feel the safety team did when that happened?
I was a little disappointed that after a hit like that, the track didn't throw the red flag. Because I was already about halfway to him before I realized they weren't going to throw the red flag. If I run out there to him without being okay, they disqualify him completely. He will get no points for the night. Okay. And so at that point, it's hard to see him, you know, 40 yards away, hoping he's not hurt. Right. But the EMTs got there quick, and you know they were talking to him. So if something was wrong, they would have waved me over. But I was a little disappointed the track didn't throw the red flag.
Okay. And as we get ready to wrap it up, you have some sponsors that are helping you out with the repairs, and you say that's a big thing for you guys.
Right, it is. Without the sponsors, like I said, I posted a thank you on Facebook earlier this week Rancher's diesel repair. Without Eric Neff, my truck runs like crap, and we couldn't even get to the races.
Right.
Without Brady Built Performance fixing our fuel tanks, we'd be leaking fuel everywhere, and that's $15 a gallon going down the drain.
Yeah.
It's just without the small people. Jim Zimmerman in Montana sends us parts for Evan because we cracked the case.
Nice.
He sends us a part because he
And that's
knows
all the way
we
from
need it.
Montana. So I mean, you guys
Right.
are well known.
Right.
You're getting out there.
We're getting out there, yeah. I mean, people. You can ask us. They may not know us personally, but they've heard of us.
Well, and that's why we brought the show to Cold Springs, because you're a local family. You raise here. You live in the community.
Right.
You know, and that's what we wanted to do is bring the community feel in.
Right.
So we want to thank you again this week. And
Thanks
we
for
look
having us.
forward to coming out with Brent and having him back next week.
Yeah, he'll be back.
All right. And we'll see you next week on Rauscher Racing Weekly.